Travis Wingoodzo. Suing the church is impossible, as the majority don't dare to molest or make afraid. There have been a few, though failed attempts to try to sue the church. Oh yeah, Boy Scouts. Gotta add them. Can't forget them. So yeah, Boy Scouts is one. The church was the main financial contributor to the Boy Scouts of America, provided the majority of the boys to the Boy Scouts of America, I being one of them, and supplied the majority of scout leaders for the Boy Scouts of America. And as it turns out, thousands of boys were sodomized or sexually assaulted as a Boy Scout and Mormon. And the lawsuits have pretty much failed, as the church has refused to accept responsibility, bailed on the Boy Scouts, leaving the Boy Scouts all by themselves to handle this, and then interfered with the lawsuit for settlement purposes, trying to claim that settlement should be far less than what is at least honest. So they had to go back to the table. Now the Methodists, I understand, are now stepping up to help the Boy Scouts with this lawsuit. So, good for them, bad for the church. You might be aware of, I think Nelson's daughter was before Gaddy versus COP. Nelson's daughter and her husband were sued by 6 Mormons that when they were children, they would go over to Nelson's daughter's home and were involved in satanic rituals involving pedophilia. Disturbing. It was misinformed over in the UK, as the news was saying that it was Nelson that was secretly sacrificing babies in the basement of the Salt Lake Temple. And I had people saying that their emotions are true and need to be validated about that. Stop! Stop! But Nelson's daughter, that was a legitimate lawsuit. It was in the Wikipedia page under Nelson's profile, until they requested Nelson show up at the hearing to give a deposition about what he knew and when he knew it. And so the Utah court stepped in and said, nope, case dismissed, nothing to see here, move along. And it's removed now from Wikipedia. So yeah, Gaddy versus COP. She did hers the month before mine. Gaddy is a Mormon. I can't remember if it's North or South Carolina. She hired Kay Birmingham out here in Utah to file a lawsuit against the church for purposely leading Mormons astray with fraudulent claims about church history, which those fraudulent claims lead Mormons down a path in life that is fraudulent. And first mistake Kay made was not going to North Carolina or South Carolina, wherever it was, to file a lawsuit there against the church. Because you can't sue the church in Utah. It just will not work. Church owns and operates Utah once again. That was their whole intention of moving here to this valley, was to have their kingdom. And the United States was perceived as the enemy by denying them their kingdom and taking it away over and over again. And so the church has finally gotten to the point where they have now conquered at least the state of Utah. They got it back again. And because she's in the Utah courts, Kay is getting the false hope being strung along. It's eventually going to be denied. We all know it. She should tell her client this. But I guess she needs a job. And so, yeah, the month later, the judge who allowed Kay's case to proceed, Magistrate Justice the first female Magistrate Justice, her first term, and she's terminated after filing of the allowing the lawsuit of Kay Burningham's to go through. It made the Salt Lake Tribune, but they did not make the connection to Kay Burningham's case, Gaddy versus COP. I did, because she was reassigned to mine. She got fired, and before she was out of office, she was assigned to me. And what do you think she was assigned to do? Dismiss my case. But in my case, I dropped the bombshell. See, I knew I wasn't going to win. I knew the state and the federal courts are all compromised. The whole state is compromised. I knew this. That's why I was filing the lawsuit, is because I was a victim of abuse by simply filing a petition for a redress of grievances in 2008. I had a guy from Riverton find my YouTube channel and make a comment. "Aren't you that terrorist from Riverton? Your parents told me all about it." I filed a petition for a redress of grievances. This is what it's like in Utah under the fascist government of the church. This is Zion for the millennium. If you don't like it, and so I had no idea back then if the top prophets were knowingly complicit. Not yet. And so I did the video the other day talking about my situation. I got out. Here I am. I sued. Why? I found the money trail tying the church to their person that had me put away in Utah's concentration camp. Remember, fascist. They have concentration camps in fascist governments. Utah's got it. They call it a hospital. There are no doctors. It's all a fraud. That's what it's all about. Fraud. Giving you a false sense of security. A false hope. while stripping you of all your rights. BLM, protect LDS children. Yeah, there's several more here I'm coming up with as I go along. And so that's what I was suing for, that the church had ordered and paid for my incarceration in Utah's concentration camp. Judge Waddups was the final decision. He refused to recuse himself. He had the motion, got to recuse. Here's the law of the land. Mormons are supposed to obey the laws of the land. He didn't obey the laws of the land. He's a Mormon. He can't be compromised in a church case. Oops. And I was denied filing a petition for redress of grievances. And so the second one was the next year, where I sued for the church being in control of the government, with Waddups as my main example. The first assigned judge recused himself. The second judge didn't recuse himself, but then denied, but said I could refile. So I used him to add to it. And then Kimball was assigned. I sent him a recusal letter by saying, hey, remember me from 2006, I think. He recused. Now, there is nobody in the federal courts that can unbiasedly handle a case with the church. And Campbell was finally put in there, and she refused to recuse herself. She refused to put on the docket my filings. She was censoring me and my motions, and one of those was her recusal. So yeah, the church and I have bad blood because they're the evil empire of the great and abominable church. And so yeah, YouTube, they're not really a court, but you do get to file complaints with them, saying, hey, you're allowing this channel, which is causing harm to the public, the church, the healing power of gratitude to cure coronavirus. And YouTube refuses. It's too much of a moneymaker. And so they come after me as a retaliation. Over and over and over again. How dare you report on the church, Travis? How dare you complain that your videos are being censored, Travis? Further censorship. Retaliation. That's what they do. They can't be good. They have to destroy. They have to control. And so, blacks in the church. They didn't really sue, but they wanted the church to behave. The NAACP gets involved and causes problems for blacks. Not cool, guys. You can't stand by the church. They're racist. You have to be condemning. You have to be aggressive with them. You have to demand that people in the church get freedom, rights, liberties, life, liberty, property. The church is abusing Mormons, causing harm. So they've failed, as they've been compromised by the church. as they then do a little showpiece about, oh, $10 million, thank you, church. But then Bezos's ex comes out with 100, or not 100 billion. Was it 100 billion? How many billions was it? It made the news, so I should be able to find it fairly quickly. Billions. 2.7 billion. The very next day. That was a humiliating slap, not only to her ex, Mr. Penis guy, but also to the church. And the NAACP didn't recognize the slap in the face? So yeah, protect LDS children. He was a bishop. He got excommunicated by the church because he wanted to protect LDS children. Church said, screw you. We're not protecting LDS children. And so he started a movement. And it was a massive movement. And a lot of petitions. A lot of story examples of abuse in the church of children. I got to be one of them. And it worked. Partially. He never sued, but he was able to get the church to get the temple recommend interviews for children in the same format style as adults. Bishops cannot stray from that. They have to ask those questions and nothing more, nothing else. They can't ask if children are doing certain names of masturbation techniques, for example, like my singles ward bishop did one sacrament testimony meeting, so that others would not get up and bear their testimony. He just rambled off a whole long I'm serious, dear God, I've never even heard of them. That was the first time I connected pearl necklace of ZZ Top to I was like, oh, that is, oh, okay. I mean, that, it just, oh my God. And so, yeah, children are better protected, but men aren't. See, the church allows for a witness to come in during interviews for children and for women. Men? No, you're on your own. So then James, let's see, probably she'd go down to McKenna Denson. She was raped by her MTC president, Joseph Bishop, while on her mission at the MTC. And I think it's this one. I'm not sure if it's the Protect LDS Children, but it could have been a combination of both, in which the church then began a hotline number for bishops to contact the legal representation when people file complaints against Mormons and bishops and the church, so that things can get quashed as a result. So yeah, that was an ugly mess that the church made worse. Then you have the whistleblower, December 2019, which, yeah, coronavirus sort of put that on hold, didn't it? He filed with the IRS a whistleblower complaint about Ensign Peak Advisors violating tax law. But it's under the Trump administration. Oops. And so, yeah, that went nowhere. But it was the shot heard round the world as others started coming up. James Huntsman was the first. And filed in California. So I thought, oh, good. Maybe. but he ended up calling tithing a donation. It's number 10 on the recommend questions. Where's fast offering in the temple recommend questions? Where's the Book of Mormon fund? Where's other charities and donations fund on the temple recommend questions? Oh, they're not there? So you don't have to pay those as donations. You'll still be worthy. But tithing, you must pay or you're not worthy. And you think that's a donation. Dear God! You've been in the church all this time and you think it's a donation? So yeah, he lost. And then, the whistleblower did both a short 7-minute video and over an hour video trying to explain it to people. Excellent job. Dear God. And remember, the church came out in response to him and his whistleblower complaint by saying, we're following the parable of the talents. Oops! They just confessed to tax fraud. They're supposed to have their tax-exempt status revoked now. They're now supposed to pay tax because they're a fraud. By that simple first presidency statement. But then you have the bishopric doing a video on top of this and saying, oh, well, we're saving for a rainy day. Well, what happens in 2020? The rainy day that everybody now needs their year's supply of food. Whoop, wait a minute. It lasted longer than a year. Now what do we do? Yeah. Church does not protect their own. Like the devil does not protect his own. Church doesn't protect their own. So, yeah. And then Jeff T. Green, he's the most recent. He dated it for yesterday, Joseph's birthday, but released it on Monday to the Salt Lake Tribune, and the World picked up on it. And I saw the first video yesterday. And People needs to be added to the list of those who have reported on it now. If you've seen the chart where I then added 2 more, and then now People now needs to be added to that. The church is exposed, but Jeff is not following through. He's not doing a lawsuit. He's just asking to be removed. And he's not asking for his money back. The one who did ask for his money back, the guy from Las Vegas, he's now a terrorist because he asked for his money back. The church security lied to the police officers. He was tortured, and they forced a confession, or they made up a confession. And so now he doesn't get his day in court. And that's it. That's his life. It's over. All because he wanted tithing back. Because the church is a fraud. So, this is America, and this is not America. Falcon and the Snowman, David Bowie. Great song.